Banditry is a practice of stealing goods from place or person, typically through the use of force. This devilish act reared its ugly heads in Zamfara state, precisely in the year 2011, when the first armed group led by Kundu and notorious Buharin Daji emerged. This group robs travelers, raid villages and kidnap for ransom, rape women, and seize people's farmlands and prevent them from conducting business, farming, and other social activities that are necessary for their survival. Banditry has created a large number of destitutes, orphans, and widows in the rural areas of the state due to constant raiding, theft, raping, and gruesome murders of the people in the state. Banditry attacks on communities increase social risks, discourage investment, and trigger off economic crisis for individuals and communities, as well as affect the neighboring areas of the state, which virtually hinder intercommunal and interstate trade. Number of operations by the Nigerian Army, such as Operation Hadarin Daji, Operation Harbin Kunama, Diram Mikia, and Paf Ada, were carried out in a bid to tackle banditry in the state and northwest in general. Here in the state, successive administration attempted some measures to curtail the menace of banditry, but all proved abortive as the desired results had not been achieved. During the tenure of former Governor Abdul Aziz Yari, for instance, the period which saw the birth and growth of banditry activities, a civilian joint task force JTF was haphazardly established, and the selected individuals to execute the exercise were given some token allowance and vehicles to execute the job. And at the same time, the dam administrators curtailed all routes of supplying petrol, food, and other necessary materials. But the bandits devised other nefarious means of supplying these items, which made the law enforced on them ineffective. The next administration of Governor Bello Matawalli claimed to have used the stick and carrot approach to force the bandits vacate the state, but somehow the plan failed. He then resolved to reconciliation process where agreement was signed between the government and the bandits. As a result, the government provided financial and logistics support and other necessary materials to the bandits, but the bandits violated the treaty as the banditry persisted. This divided the bandits into two groups, the repentant bandits and the ones called recalcitrant bandits by the past administration. But when the present administration of Governor Dauda Lawal came on board, its first step was to carefully study the menace, made some visitations to stakeholders on security across the country, generated funds for the exercise where the governor gathered the needed techniques and experience on how to tackle the menace. Lest we forget that the government has equally established Security Trust Fund as a means to get to the root cause of the problem and solve it once and for all through constant supply of the resources needed. After being equipped with the necessary resources on how to fight banditry, the governor approved the establishment of Community Protection Guard (CPG), where 4,700 personnel were engaged. But being conversant with the nature of the problem, Governor Dauda Lawal then ordered for giving the members of the CPG an intensive training to prepare them to assist conventional security agencies with actionable intelligence to curtail insecurity in the state and the nation in general. The 4,700 CPG drawn from nooks and the cranny of the state who were conversant with all the terrain of their respective areas have since been in the camp receiving training on how to approach the matter. When the Community Protection Guard pass out, the government has resolved to provide them with reasonable allowances, resources, and vehicle for effective operations. Equally, when the Community Protection Guards commence operation, they are expected to take the fight to the bandits' enclave, as attack is the best form of defense, a sort of back to the sender approach. Alhamdulillah. The said Community Protection Guards have now received the required training and method to assist security agencies combat crime and are billed to pass out come 31st January 2024. As the date for their passing out is fast approaching, precisely 31st January 2024, preparation by the government to inaugurate them is on top gear. As soon as they pass out, the government will provide them with all the needed support to swing into action. The CPG will be charged to take the fight to the bandits' camp. The idea here is, unlike the previous JTF approach, who were employed to protect their immediate environment, the present CBG will comb all the forest and fish out these miscreants so as to allow peace to reign in the state and the nation in general. It is pertinent to state here that maintenance of security is a collective responsibility that requires the participation of all and sundry. Therefore, when the CPG pass out, the general public should exercise their civic responsibilities by giving enough support and cooperation to the CPG to enable them operate effectively. Secondly, the general public should encourage them through various means available, console and praise them, and at the same time identify with the guards to enable them have emotional attachment to this job. Above all, there is need for intensive prayers for the success of the guards in the discharge of their duties. We therefore unequivocally state that Governor Dauda Lawal has portrayed and demonstrated political will to impact positively on the lives of the citizens of the state through taking drastic measures to free the state from the bondage of insecurity, poverty, illiteracy, and a host of other social ills. The society should therefore reciprocate the gesture through their contributions in whatever way possible to ensure the state moved forward. On its own part, the publicity subcommittee of the CPG inauguration ceremony, under the leadership of the chairman of Publicity Committee, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Culture, Comrade Munir Haidarak Aurandamoda, has been up and doing to ensure the success of the program through effective mobilization and enlightenment of the general public before, during, and after the exercise. It calls on the people of the state to demonstrate their well-known hospitality to our invited guests to ensure that they feel at home while away from home in our home state, Zamfara state. Finally, we want to use this opportunity to invite the general public to attend the passing out ceremony of Community Protection Guard, one of its kind, built to take place on 31st January 2024, to witness how the community guards were trained, polished and prepared for the task ahead of them. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for us.